Hey, and welcome to Lemon Drops, brought to you by the Smokeylemon crew. Well, we're talking branding, marketing, and everything in between. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's drop in. Welcome along to our next episode of Lemon Drops, and today we're chatting with Stephanie Murray of Stephanie Murray Mortgages. Hi, Steph.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, great to get you on our podcast. You have got such a incredible story to tell, not only creating your own business, but also your dedication to community service, your vision. You're such a fashion queen. I first met Steph, about 15 years ago on the fashion field. Yeah.
That was 15 years.
Yeah.
14 years.
You won that year. Yeah, and no surprises. So that's in your spare time, something that you do quite a lot of and have some amazing outfits. And we've all seen the pictures of your shoe wardrobe. But there's a lot more to Steph than just the fashion. Yeah, she's an incredible businesswoman. So let's talk about your business beginnings and what sparked the idea for Stephanie Murray Mortgages. That was back in 2015?
Yeah, so end of 2015. It was something that I guess was in the making for a really long time. It wasn't something that was just created, or it wasn't something that was spur of the moment. So probably a good 10-15 years of career in banking and lending
to get to that point.
Yeah. It certainly wasn't an overnight thing.
Yeah.
What started it right there and then was probably I'd found that I at that point had enough. I feel like I had enough knowledge, enough experience, enough life experience, enough sort of reputation, and just it was the right time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so your team now covers all of New Zealand. So started here in Taranaki, now branched out. Yeah. So that's pretty big.
In fact, I came in this very room to do our logo.
Oh wow! Right at the beginning. Oh yay, Smokeylemon. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And now, so how many branches across New Zealand now?
So we're in. I'll call it 6 to 8 areas, depending on whether you break up Wellington and Wairarapa, for example. We actually have an office in the Wairarapa. We'd say 6, 7, 8-ish areas in New Zealand.
So what's been your secret sauce for this growth?
I think in some ways, we've been through a lot of markets in the industry. So obviously we've been through pretty hard times with high interest rates. We've been times with low interest rates, and we've been somewhere in between. But I think the main thing is that our team's pretty dedicated to actually making the best result for the client, and everyone in the team is sort of working towards the same goals and the same, really loving getting some great outcomes for our customers. But I think personally, just probably with me, I've just been a real let's just do it, roll up your sleeves and do whatever needs to be done to get things done to move forward.
Put the effort in, the payoff will come.
Yeah.
So you help everyone from first home buyers to property developers. So how do you make sure each client gets what they need?
It's probably a process of elimination in some ways, because sometimes people come to see you and they don't actually kind of know themselves what they actually need. They kind of know what they want to achieve at the end, but they don't know what their steps are to get there.
Obviously, buy a house, end goal.
Yeah. So I think it's more discovering and knowing and having the knowledge for many, many avenues of where we can go to, and much, much experience and knowledge and background of different ways of doing things to find out sort of how to get them to that end result, because a lot of the time they haven't even thought about how they're going to get there. It's just the end.
They just want this end goal, and
I want this house, or I want to invest in this, or I want to buy my first commercial building, and finding the steps along the way, the journey to.
But that's the advantage of taking on an advisor like you to learn those steps. Yeah. It's really important we cover off your community and charity aspect too, Stephanie, because you've been such an incredible supporter of local charities, particularly Roderick Hope Trust with Michelle, and so who basically do transitional housing for people. So what drew you to support these ones in particular?
So with our vision statement at SMM right from the beginning, we wanted to do something to help the community, and that was the second part of our vision statement that our success would enable us to help others within the community. And so when I met Michelle 8-9 years ago, and Roderico was just starting and wasn't anywhere near, the great organisation it is now. Jonathan Young, actually, who was the MP at the time for National, I went and had to talk to him about who we could do some fundraising for locally that would really be a local, not a national cause, and something that we could actually see all the result of in the community in Taranaki. And he introduced me to Michelle. And that's how it all began. So it was the timing. It was the absolute timing.
Perfect timing.
Because she was just literally starting the Roderico Trust.
But you guys have formed such a special bond over that time. You're like sisters?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you have the two big events you do, the Noir Blanc. Noir Blanc. How do I say it? Noir Blanc Progressive Dinner. Yep. So how does that work?
So we have 3 restaurants, and we start at one with canapes and a couple of speeches.
Yeah.
And everyone sort of mingles, and then we split into 3 different groups. So go to 3 different restaurants and then come back for the charity auction at the end, which normally Chris Rez does for us. Chris Rasmussen.
Brilliant.
Who's, amazing auctioneer.
Yeah.
So it's all about showcasing those 3 amazing restaurants. So this year we've got Oboro, Shining Peak and Hourglass.
Okay.
And then obviously coming back for the charity auction afterwards.
What date's this year's one?
11th of October.
Okay, bear that in mind. We'll put a little link down the bottom.
11th of October.
And you combine that also with your annual charity golf tournament, which sounds like an absolute blast.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun. So we started having golf before golf was our first event. And then on 2 days after the first golf day, after all the success we had from the golf day and all the buzz it was, I sat there and I can remember sitting there in the TV room in my house and thinking, got to do something else. There's got to be another event. And that's how Noir Blanc started.
Right.
Well, I said to Michelle, we've got to do something else.
Yeah.
And she said, what? And I said, well, we need to have a dinner, but we don't want to make it in one place like everyone else does. We want to showcase some local businesses and make it a bit different and stuff. And that's how. And Noir Blanc was because I had to have a theme.
Right.
Being like this little fashionista person, I had to have like this little theme.
Yeah.
So, I wanted it to be black and white, so I called it Noir Blanc. In fact, I can't even really remember how they actually turned up now.
But that's the thing, you wear either black or white.
Yes.
But, it does make sense.
Dress code. A simple dress code that everyone could adhere to. And it doesn't mean, we have people that get really dressed up and people that don't get so dressed up. It's just black and white's easy.
Yeah. Because you can only dress up so much on the golf course, right? So this is a good opportunity to do both ways.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so 2 different, I guess we have lots of overlap in people as well, and we have lots of overlap in the support of businesses as well that are donating and donating prizes and auction items, but it tends to be a different crowd of people for Noir Blanc as it does for golf. Yeah.
So far you've raised, have you just tapped $200,000?
Yeah, we have tapped 200,
It's huge. Yeah. All directly to Roderick Hope Trust. So what has that enabled them to do?
So obviously, Roderick Hope Trust being transitional housing, so they have people in houses for normally 12 weeks to get them back on their feet and have obviously surround them with what they need to get back out again and
support services.
Yeah, that's right. And that will be different for different people. So the main thing with them is obviously that once that time frame's over, that they're back in the community and they've got the tools and enabled to actually go back and, do things sort of a little bit differently. And that looks different for everybody. So I think, thinking about what that money's where that's gone to is it's gone to so many different places and there are so many examples, which is really lovely because it doesn't mean that it has to actually be specific to specific things. Like Michelle at every event, she talks about where the money's specifically gone to. Like I literally have to think of examples of things like, just small things where someone's got, been given a skip bin so that they can clean up the property so that they can move on to the next one. Glasses, scooters for kids to get to school on.
It's kind of starting from scratch in some ways.
Someone's driver's license so that they can get their license so that they can then drive their children to school.
Brilliant.
Those are just really small things and they all add up obviously and there are some really bigger picture things as well that are probably not as actually, but they're the little things and we could write lists and lists and lists of how that money's actually helped individuals and families in the communities.
But those little things are what matter most. Getting their lives back on track.
Yes, that's right. So these people that come into obviously the transitional houses, they do have little things like that need to be pay for that are, that they can't do without the help of somebody else. And that does really get their lives back on track.
Awesome. That's it's something to be so proud of.
Yeah, it is.
So tell me, Stephanie, how does your passion for helping like underprivileged in our community, how does that connect with your work as a mortgage advisor?
I think it's a really question because it raises an awareness for everybody because, a family in a home and somewhere to live is a real security thing.
100%.
So I think for the people that we are doing finance for properties, it raises the awareness that that's not actually an avenue for everybody and not everyone can achieve that. And therefore, a lot of the time, those people end up being advocates or supporting the trust in some sort of a way as well.
Yeah, true.
Because, it's that awareness thing.
Yeah.
There is a real need for this in our community, much more than most people know.
Huge, yeah.
And us, obviously, flying the flag has made our customers very aware that there is, there's help that can be given no matter how big or small.
In all sorts of ways.
Correct.
Yeah. So, whether it's advice related or being able to share some of your profit or, it comes under a few hats. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, for the Roderick Hope Trust. It might be for something else, but it's like, there's always a small way to help another business and another individual family in the community.
I love that. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So, Stephanie, with 20 plus years in lending, it's quite a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
What big lessons have shaped how you lend and how you work with clients?
I think probably knowledge, because every single situation is different. And when you think something's going to be easy, it's often not. And all that background of dealing with different situations really does, enable you to find a solution for not everything, I'm going to say, but for most things, because you've seen it all.
Experience.
Like you've seen it all. You know where to go and get the answers from. You know the solutions. You know the people you're dealing with at the other end that are providing the funds. The lenders, the banks. They know your integrity. They trust you. They know your reputation. You can ask them for a lot and they'll provide.
True. Yeah.
It's a real longevity game.
And it's the hard work you put in. It pays off for your clients because of your success and people knowing who you are and things as well.
And there's not much that you haven't seen. Yeah. You've seen most things in life. So situations.
And I've heard that you personally call every client every quarter.
Yeah.
What's the go with that?
I think it's really important for people to know that we're always there, that it's not just a service that we put somebody into a home and then next thing you know, they've, 2 or 3 years later, they haven't even heard from us.
Right. So
it's an ongoing thing, even though people tend to fix their rates for a year or 2 years or whatever it may be, and obviously most businesses hopefully would contact those clients every time that occurs or the fixed rate comes up. But it's also like, okay, has anything changed in your circumstances? Tell us about anything that's working or not working for you. Is there anything you think you'd change? We're still here.
I guess it's a smart business move too, because, they might be looking to the next home or refinancing and all
just
those
thinking
things.
About it.
Yeah.
Just thinking, okay, well, maybe it is a time to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, now that interest rates are back down again, when they're up, it was a little bit harder. But a lot of the time now, people don't realise what they can do.
So, for example, I needed to replace the roof on my house, and obviously I'd need to put it against my mortgage. Can I go through someone like you as opposed to going direct to the bank?
Yes.
And that must make life easier.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So it just keeps that awareness up and make sure that, that they all understand that we're here for the long game, not the short game. It's not just
put your house in the
and then off you go.
I like that. Yeah. Now, you're also Vice President of Taranaki Property Investors Association. You are a busy wahine. Yeah. And a mentor. So how do those roles feed into your day-to-day work? Like, why did you take that on?
Taranaki Property Investors I've been part of for best part of 8 or 9 years. I'd say I've been Vice President for about 5 or 6 years.
Didn't take long. Yeah.
Maybe 5 or 6 years. It's a real avenue again, and so that I can advocate for what I believe in, like prosperity through property, and encourage people that are not involved in property to come along and have a chat and sort of see what we're about and see what property investing's about. and just the fantastic property investors that you meet on that journey as well. And I guess also the other thing is it keeps my national knowledge really high as well, because I know what's going on at an association and federation level in terms of any changes in tenancy laws, in terms of any changes of, anything that's come on that, further afield. It just keeps that real knowledge up too. So not only do I get to work with a lot of those people that are part of Property Investors Association, but also it gives me the knowledge to keep at the head of the game.
Yeah, which is wise, isn't it? It's like future-proofing yourself. Yeah. So what's next for Stephanie Murray? Like, do you have like any exciting plans or new ventures?
Well, I think, like I said this to someone today earlier, it's been a real time of change in the world, since COVID, and it's been a real time of change for us in the finance and mortgage brokering industry as well, because we had such huge legislative changes.
Interest rates and up and down.
Yeah, interest rates changes, and our legislation and governance has changed hugely, which most customers wouldn't even know.
Right, yeah.
We do everything we should, but I guess from a customer face, it's not something you really recognise. So for us at the moment, I think the growth thing is getting more advisors on board and getting them through the education so that we can grow even further. But I think we just want to make sure that we're just doing what we're doing really, really well, and making sure that our communities, even outside of Taunaki as well, really benefit from the great work that we're doing, whether that be our customers or whether that be anyone else we can help in the community through the same sort of avenues.
Which is so important, because it comes down to getting more and more people into investments or property. Yeah. All right, Steph, just before we wrap up, if someone wanted to help out with your charity work, like sponsoring the golf tournament or donating auction items, how do they get in touch with you? You're happy for that to happen?
We love it.
Yeah.
We love it. So anything big or small, really anything big or small is greatly appreciated, whether that be prizes, whether that be vouchers, greatly appreciated for North Blanc and for Golf Day. So all the tickets are available on our website and through our social media, through the links. It's on the 11th of October, which is event number 14.
Wow.
And we have an amazing team member called Imogen that does all our sponsorship stuff, and you can get in touch with her at any stage.
Great.
Or through the website, obviously, to donate anything and buy tickets as well. So our tickets for North Blanc, even though it's the 11th of October, we're still well through the tickets, meaning like we're doing really well on ticket sales. Because it's quite a wee while away.
And it can sell out sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
It does. And that's great for an event 11th of October and partway through. So we'll make sure we put some links down the bottom. But Steph, if I can just wrap up by saying you're an incredible woman. You're a smart, intelligent businesswoman. You're so supportive of our community, and it's been a real pleasure to sit down and talk a bit more about Stephanie Murray Mortgages.
It's a pleasure to talk to you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on Lemon Drops.